You have to.
Yeah.
You have to. And you can't wait for perfect. You cannot wait for perfect.
No. And that is just being a perfectionist. Because I feel like there's a point in my life where it was just like, I'm not even going to start.
Absolutely. That's what happens.
Do it.
We get into a freeze pattern.
Yeah.
So I'm what I would call a recovering perfectionist.
There you go.
And I see there is no perfect time.
No.
Put your stuff out there. You'll get better as you go.
Yeah.
I'm also a former teacher, and I know that the best way to learn something is to actually do it and to teach it.
Yeah.
So it's like I always challenge myself to like just go dive in. Dive in. You'll figure it out.
Yeah. My husband and I both are. And we will kill ourselves.
Yeah.
Making it perfect.
Yeah.
Just up all night on hobbies. On this.
Right.
Not my job, but I'm happy to be up all night.
Right.
Dealing with it. And my husband is he's a CPA.
Okay.
But at nighttime, he is a bassist for a band.
Oh, okay. Wow, that is using both sides of his brain.
Correct. No, and both sides are so strong.
Okay.
He's so artistic.
I love that.
But yeah, he's like, he'll be up all night, like tweaking the recordings.
Yep. That's my son. He's a musician. He just finished audio engineering school. And he doesn't, I'm like, you got to get out there, man. You got to start networking. And he's like, yeah, but I don't really have anything to show people yet. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Stop. Get out there.
Yeah. He's got something. He didn't get out of school without anything.
Exactly.
Did you go to art school?
No, I actually got my degree in English. I'm a former English teacher.
Okay.
So yeah, arts have always, they were something that I just did as a hobby until one day I was like, well, wait a minute. Why did you think that you couldn't make art into a living?
Somebody told you couldn't.
Right. Go do the safe thing.
Yeah.
Take the safe path.
Yeah, English teacher. Yeah. Nothing safer than an English teacher.
Seriously, right?
Yeah.
We're always going to need that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not going to pay for it.
No, right. Yeah. There's the problem. There's the problem right there. We don't want to pay you for doing all that. But,
how long were you an English teacher?
Oh, gosh. It was like, it feels so long ago. It wasn't very long, like 3 years.
Okay.
It was right before I had my daughter.
Okay.
So
that's
from my son to
a long time ago.
Yeah. I mean, that means I stopped teaching just over 16 years ago.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's so wild.
And is that you went right into photography then?
I didn't do anything for a while. But photography had always been my hobby. And I mean, I come from the film days.
Right, okay.
Right?
Yes.
I'm a dinosaur. I come from the film days. And so I always did photography as that hobby. And then when digital came out, I was really like, I could do more of this.
Yeah, okay.
I remember
less time in a darkroom.
Absolutely. Which I do miss. I miss that meditative.
Did you have a slap together darkroom in your house?
I did not.
A hobby?
I did not.
I always wanted to.
Same.
I always wanted to.
No, I would usually use one. Like I used the college darkroom. High school we had one. Like I wish I had my own.
Yeah.
But I do miss that quiet meditative time where you're waiting. So you have to wait with patience, right, to see what develops.
Yeah.
And it's so quiet.
Counterintuitive for a perfectionist.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I think it was a nice challenge for myself.
But I guess over time in the darkroom, you do learn don't do this, do this, don't do this, do this.
It's like anything. You perfect your skills.
I only spent one semester in a darkroom, and I was like, not for me. I was an art major first.
Okay.
But doing art, studio art for me, too lonely.
Sure. It is so lonely. The arts are
in a dark room.
So lonely. Yeah.
Alone and in the dark.
Yeah.
That's not a safe place for me.
That is terrible for a lot of people, right? I am actually like an introvert at heart, and so it felt like this.
That was a safe space for you.
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, I was going to say it makes sense for people though too to be like, yeah, no, don't leave me in that dark room.
No, I did. I loved it. I loved the process. I love like seeing the results, the practicing.
Yeah.
What do I have control over? What do I don't?
Yeah.
What do I not?
Right. The art in itself, I think, was also so personal. It reminds me a lot of yoga. I used to practice a lot of yoga years ago. I should do that again. But, and, you know, it's kind of like the waiting, the holding, the waiting, the breathing.
Yes.
It's a huge life lesson.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that carries on to other things that I do for sure.
Yeah.
Even with digital photography, you know, it becomes muscle memory because I had that film, you know, history past. But now I'm able to kind of transcend that and try new things that maybe I wouldn't do before when I was worried about using up my film.
Right. You know? Yeah, definitely. No, I think about that all the time. Just what we're seeing, what we put out on social media, you know, whatever. Because we walked around with those disposable cameras.
Yes.
You've only got 25 shots.
Yeah.
You've only got this one night out with your friends.
That's right.
Do not waste it.
Use it wisely.
Everybody pose.
Right.
And if you closed your eyes, too bad.
That's right. This is the picture of us. This is it. I do miss that, to be honest with you.
No, for real. Yes.
I think people were a lot more forgiving of themselves. They weren't looking for perfection all the time because now you see a lot of people, you know, it's like, no, I know the angle that I like to be photographed at. Well, that's not a realistic angle. Because they've had so much
practice.
Yeah. And then, of course, the lenses on our cameras are lenses that a professional, like the lens size, it's not what a professional photographer would ever choose.
Yes.
You've got that. You've got all the filters. And so people are just so used to seeing such a fake version of themselves.
Right.
It's hard.
I love getting sucked into those reels and TikToks that are like, here's how to pose for
your
photos.
Yeah.
And you're like, your legs are twisted and you're not breathing and you're sticking your tongue to the roof of your mouth. And I'm like, what?
Right.
Yeah.
And those are things, you know, people can get so caught up in that though, where that's all they're worried about. It's like the picture is not perfect unless I'm doing all of this.
Yeah.
Now, of course, you know, I do studio photography. So what I do is very posed and curated. I am creating a portrait with my clients. I don't take pictures. I create portraits. Yes. And that means I'm crafting the lighting. I'm crafting the mood. I'm crafting the pose. And even the emotion that comes from.
No, you were like, I mean, that was only like a week ago.
Right?
I did those portraits. But
oh my gosh.
I cannot. And I have to tell, like, we do photos like once every 6 months.
Yeah. Which is so important, by the way.
Yes.
Good for you guys.
Nobody wants a real estate agent that's got a 10-year-old photo.
I have a lot coming. It's the truth. Some of my clients will be like, "Oh my God, like I haven't had a new headshot in like 10 years."
We do it every 6 months. The team changes, the dynamics change, the mood changes.
Absolutely.
We keep it going, but we've been with a number of photographers and it's like nobody has been as organized as you.
Oh my God, thank you.
I was like,
that means a lot to me.
Yes.
I'm like,
yes, nobody has been as organized as you. And because I try to do the organization, like when you gave me like 3 time frames, I was like, these 3 are going, these 3 are going, these 3 are going. And I have tried to do that with other photographers, and it's like 2 hours later, I got 3 more people, and you are only on the second one, and it's like, oh my God. But you have it down to such a science.
I do. And
that's created a lot of portraits.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that is the thing. Like I am one of the most organized creatives you'll meet. So despite the fact that I am a creative and creation usually comes from chaos, right? Yes. I'm the type of person that I need to clean my kitchen before I cook. Things need to be organized while I cook. I'm cleaning. I'm cleaning and organizing, and I approach my art the same way. I can't tap into the muse unless I have a clean space.
Blank slate.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So in order for me to do that, and I've learned over the years, this is probably English teacher stuff too, I would rather over communicate with my clients than under communicate.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I find that people are more prepared. They're more able to enjoy the experience because they don't have to worry about so much. I mean, it took me a long time to get my systems in place, right?
Yeah.
I've been doing this for like 14 years.
Yeah.
So I think being a professional photographer for the past 14 years, it's been a huge journey for me. I started out really focused on the technical aspect, right?
Yes.
As you do, I think, when you do anything.
Yeah.
And I have evolved into making connection the primary piece in what I do with my clients.
Yeah.
Like, I already have the lighting down. I already have all the technical stuff down. Now it's about transcending a photo shoot into not just somebody taking pictures, with a camera in front of them, but creating this experience where a client can show up in their vulnerability, because it's vulnerable to be in front of the camera. And really show up and create something beautiful together, right?
Yeah.
So I think one thing that I've learned over this journey is to always be open to evolving and growing, knowing when to pivot. I mean, oh my gosh, knowing when to pivot. And to not
dragging that foot through the pivot. Yeah.
Sometimes you do. Sometimes you do drag through, and other times it feels like a rebirth. And there have been so many iterations of my photography studio. Where I'm at right now feels elevated, it feels empowered, and it is because I think I'm putting that connection first. Yeah. And it helps me see myself too. When I'm working with clients, we're mirroring each other.
Yes. Yes.
So sometimes when my clients are really insecure, like, I'm thinking about my insecurities, which I try to say, we don't do that here.
We're not doing this here.
We don't do that here.
Yeah.
And sometimes when they're just having so much fun and losing themselves in the moment, it's like,
You're
I do
lost
too.
As well.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that. I felt that when I was with you. Like, I couldn't tell you what your camera looks like. Like, I was like,
I love that.
Like,
yes.
You were like, we're getting this shot, we're doing this, you're thinking about this.
The camera kind of disappeared,
It
right?
disappears. And
that is my goal.
I feel like that is what, because I didn't know you before the headshots, but I've seen you, we're in some similar Facebook mom groups.
We kind of hang in the same
whatever,
circles a
we're
bit.
Like around. So I'm like, I know who April is. I've told people to go to April. I've never been to April. I finally get to April and I'm like, oh man, she likes people too.
Yes. I really do.
Yeah. I feel like that's the cornerstone of all the good businesses is the people.
Right. Like, I am here to support the people that I'm
serving.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. And, some photographers do things a different way than I do, and that's fine for them. I never feel like I should change anything. But one thing that I do is I want to know how you want to be photographed.
Yes.
So I don't have, some people can see my work and be like, oh, April did that. Okay. Which is great. But I also am trying to put a spin on it that is a flavor from my client.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I don't want my clients to have to fit into my box.
Right. Yeah.
So
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. You're a photographer. You've been in Nashville. You said over 10 years.
It's been about, just over 9 in December of last year. So I'm coming up on 10 years, I guess. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thanks. Yeah. Happy anniversary.
And I love transplants that have been here a decade.
Yeah.
Especially the last
We've
decade.
seen some things.
You've seen some things.
Some things.
So a decade ago is 2014, and you're already a photographer. You guys get to Nashville. You're bringing a family.
Yeah.
You got small kids then, I guess.
Yeah. They were small.
What brought you guys here?
Well, first of all, my sisters had moved down quite a few years before. And so I was always bringing the kids down, like every quarter or so for let's go see the aunties.
Nashville.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. We do all the fun things. And, this was after the 2008 recession.
Yeah.
I'm from the Chicago area. That hit us really hard.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things where we were in kind of a predicament back home. Our house, we were underwater.
Yeah.
$200,000.
Yeah.
It was really, it was scary, and it was just so sad. You know, you work so hard.
Yeah.
And then, oh my gosh, like all of this happens is out of
Out
our
of your control, taken away
Totally.
from you. Yeah.
So when all of that was happening, I mean, we were just kind of assessing, like, what do we do? What do we do now? And we were the only ones in my family that had kids. So it was a little bit harder for us to say, oh, let's just move.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But I think, just felt like we needed a breath of fresh air. Let's do it. Let's give the kids an adventure. I love the Chicago area. I love where I grew up. But I do think that that's something that's kind of important, to give your kids different experiences.
Yeah.
So we did it. We did it.
Packed it up and came to Nashville.
It took us a little while.
Sure.
We ended up living in my parents' house for a while. And then we rented a house here. We actually rented in Mount Juliet.
I love that. Yes.
It was a great home. We were also going through some things. My dad got sick. So I just started kind of homeschooling my kids. I was a former public school teacher. So I was like,
the skills.
I had the skills.
Yeah.
Found our community and some support, which was really helpful. And then, we were like, okay, we like it here, but we know we didn't want to necessarily stay in Mount Juliet.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a little bit closer to the action, right?
Sure.
And when our landlord said that she was moving back,
into the house she's rented
into the house she's yeah.
Okay, love when that happens.
It was a shock. Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I thought we had at least another year, you know. And it was like 3 months. It was figured out in 3 months, right?
Yeah.
And I was a little like, okay, what are we gonna do? We weren't quite ready to buy, but I mean, that just kind of made us have to figure it out.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
So that's what we did. We got a realtor and started looking. Now, at the time, there was not a lot of inventory.
No.
There was not a lot of inventory. And so this would have been 2017.
Okay.
So
you're looking at like, trying to remember. I mean, is that like a multiple offer summer?
Oh, for sure.
It was crazy.
For sure.
Low inventory.
Right.
Prices are good.
Prices were good.
Interest rates are great.
Exactly. And that was the great thing, is I was so surprised that we could actually afford.
You could afford to own a house.
Yeah.
Yes.
And a nice house at that, right?
Yes.
So that was really difficult, because we were struggling to find what we wanted. And especially being on that time crunch.
Yeah.
The house that we ended up buying, if I had a choice, I probably would not have purchased it, you know, but it has worked wonderfully for us.
Yeah.
You know, I love the area that we live in. So yeah. And I've been there ever since.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you've been in that house 7-ish years?
Yeah. Around 7 years.
No, that's great. That's home then.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
That's home. I think the longest I've ever lived in a house is about 8 years.
Yeah.
But my family is also real estate, so it was always like,
oh yeah,
we gotta sell, we gotta move, we're gonna sell, we're gonna move.
I'm starting to feel the bug a little bit.
Yeah, 7-year itch on that house.
Yeah, that is what it is.
I don't even know what's in that cabinet. Like
that is for real. And my house has got so much storage. It's insane.
Yeah.
This past year has been very transformational for me. And one of the things that I've done this year is go through every cabinet, every closet, the things that we have held on to since our kids were little.
Yeah.
Like,
but they were treasures 10 years ago.
They absolutely were.
Yeah.
You know? And now I'm like paring down everything, and it feels so good.
Yeah.
It feels so, so good.
Any real treasures that you found that you thought were like long lost?
You know, okay. So one of the things that I found is I always had a box of my own stuff, like from high school and whatnot, you know, pictures. Now, you know, we were talking about, you know, pictures, and back in the day you had disposable cameras and all of this. So
Walgreens 1 hour photo.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you find those pictures, right? There are pictures of me meeting like lead singers of bands
Love
or whatnot.
that.
And I'm like just crying hysterically.
And that's the photo.
That is the
Immortalized
photo.
forever.
And it's a terrible photo of me, but I laugh so
Here
hard.
you are. Yeah.
Things like that are just so like, oh my God, I forgot about this, right? A lot of things from my kids that they may have made that just like, oh my God, you were so cute.
Yeah.
And now they're like teenagers.
Yeah.
They're still really cute, but they're teenagers.
Yeah.
Every chapter with the kids has had its pros and cons. What I will say is I have got 2 really incredible kids that are also, at this point, it's becoming more of this true friendship.
Oh, I love that.
I
love that
They do make good decisions.
Yeah.
And they're incredible people to know.
Yeah.
Their likes and dislikes. And my daughter and I share the love of music. Mm-hmm. So we go to a lot of concerts together.
I feel like that says everything about you as a mom, though.
Thank you.
Because there's too many people not having that experience with teens,
right.
not having that experience with their moms.
Yeah.
That says everything about you being
I love it.
a mom. Yeah.
My daughter and I cook dinner together every night, right?
I love that.
And so there's a lot. My son and I just went to a comedy show the other day.
Yes.
It was an 18 and over show, so I'm like, oh yeah, do you want to go?
You can go.
And that was his first time at Zanies, which was so fun.
Who'd you guys see?
It was an all-star event, so they had numerous comics, and it was so good.
That. I love Zanies. I
so
love
do
a good comedy show.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Comedy, music, the arts, like I'm just like, that is life, right?
Mm-hmm. It is. I love that I guess you said you didn't go to art school. You didn't. I mean, I guess you still have technically a Bachelor of Arts.
Yeah, it is a Bachelor of Arts.
Literature.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. But were you always... you always had a camera in your hand. You're always doing something.
Oh my God, yeah.
Playing music. What was baby April doing in her free time?
Okay, so weirdly enough, when I was really young, like I would play school with my sisters. I'm the oldest of 3 girls.
That's some major
major
eldest
first
daughter
child
syndrome stuff.
Yeah,
Yes.
like no, I'm a teacher and you will do this assignment.
Yes.
So I definitely did stuff like that, but I was always reading. To the point that if I got in trouble and sent to my room, I'd be like,
deal.
yeah, cool.
Okay,
I get to go read
See
my
you guys
book.
in 5 hours.
Seriously, like it really did not bother me.
Yeah.
Which I'm thankful that my mom never took away my books, right? Take away the TV, take away the radio. Don't take away kids' books, right?
Definitely not.
Also, cameras. I remember when I was really young, my aunt lived in Australia, which was such a cool thing.
Yeah.
We got to go visit her, and she actually, I know, and I wish I was older to like really have appreciated it. But I was in middle school, and she actually flew me down there for a summer.
Oh my God!
And I remember having my camera. And we were doing this outing. We were going to go to the capital from Sydney. So we took a tour bus, right? And we met right outside of the Sydney Opera House. And it was right before sunrise.
Oh.
There was this picture that I took. This started my love for photography, my actual love for it. It was the Sydney Opera House in silhouette. At sunrise.
Do you have this blown up and framed in your house?
No.
You should.
I know I have it somewhere.
You need to put it in the studio.
I really do.
Yeah.
I've been looking. I was so crazy with my purging this year that I didn't slow down enough to like specifically look for it, but I'm pretty sure I still have this picture.
You got to.
So that was like I really do like photography, and then that just grew with like the high school newspaper and things like that. And then of course, what happens when you have babies? Well, I'm taking all these pictures and like propping the baby up and like
staging a little bit.
Put a little
something in front of the
Here's
baby.
your little teddy bear and you're wearing a cute outfit. Yeah, I was that mom for sure.
I had a COVID baby.
Okay.
And they were not. They got the photographers that come into the hospital. And do your newborn photos.
Yep.
Not in COVID.
Oh my God. So you missed out.
I mean, like early, like we're talking April 2020.
Oh.
Yeah.
Everybody was still
You're lucky your husband's here. And
right.
Am I?
Right.
Am I? But anyway, so no photographer in the hospital, but we got that baby home, and I think I had an iPhone 7.
Okay.
And I immediately upgraded to the iPhone 13.
You're like, no, I'm going to take great pictures of my baby. But seriously,
so all of our newborn photos are iPhone 13.
That's great. That's great. Use the camera you have.
White. I know. Yeah. But that's our newborn photos. But it was so fun. He was so squished, and you just
and
style
they'll sit there and they don't give you dirty looks.
I don't know how you don't go about your life just being a baby photographer. Who's that lady that puts the babies in like the big flowers?
Was
or
it like
something?
Ann
Do you remember
Geddes?
those
Yeah.
photos?
I do.
And those photos those posters of those photos would be in the most random places. You'd be like in a corporate office, and there was a baby and
as
a
a
giant
flower.
violet, and you're like, okay.
It's true.
That feels very like
those were
early
everywhere.
2000s.
Good for her too.
Yeah, no, great.
Man,
yeah, monopolize that.
Yeah,
please.
Yeah.
Yeah,
babies everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think I could do babies everywhere, and I couldn't do. I worked in in the recession. There was no real estate to be done.
Right.
So I worked in a elementary school.
Okay.
And I said, I need to get the F out of here, or I'll never have children.
Yeah, it is something to work with other people's kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and still be a kind human.
Right.
It's exhausting.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the main reasons too that I stopped teaching after having my daughter is when you're with other people's kids, 30 of them in a classroom, 5 classes a day.
Right.
To come home to my own, I was like, no, I need to have all the patience for you and not be wiped out. Yeah.
I still have a hard time if it's busy here and everybody's in and everybody's doing all the things.
Yeah.
It's like, and then I gotta go home and he's having a high strung day. It's like, oh my God. And I'm just like, serenity prayer. Last night, solo parenting, a high strung 4-year-old was just like.
4 is really difficult. It's kind of like puppies with the zoomies, right?
Yes.
It's just like.
And last night was one of those nights. Some nights he's tired, he's chill, but last night was one of those like 7:15. Hey, Mom, let's get out the paint. Like, I want that for you.
You do want that.
But we cannot.
We
cannot get out the paint at 10 minutes before your bedtime.
I understand.
Post-bath.
Oh, yeah, especially post-bath.
Like,
no.
Post-bath, I'm just like, don't touch anything.
No. We're going to be quiet. We're going to read a book. We're going to, start dialing it down a bit.
A couple nights ago, I gave up on it. He wanted to go outside and do chalk right after bath.
Right after bath, of course. Of course.
Yeah.
Did you ever have those like bath? I don't know if they're
everything. We had everything
all of that,
in the bath. First of all, okay.
Yeah.
Right now we're working with watercolors, washable watercolors, and shaving cream.
Shaving cream is good.
Yeah, we're working with that. If we don't have that, sometimes when I'm just like filling up the Amazon cart,
right,
to get free shipping after $25.
What else do I need? What else can I throw in here?
I'll put in these. They look like little science beakers, and they're filled with whatever is in bath bombs.
Oh,
so they,
okay.
Explode out. We did a couple of those last night. We do science in the bath.
Love that. Mm-hmm. That is great.
We do science and art in the bath. So I will we're putting together another boy that is going to be left-brained and right-brained.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And that's really interesting. My daughter is both left-brained and right-brained, and very strongly. It's lovely to see.
Yes. And it's just like you're not going to F this up.
Right.
Just grow up, be an adult. You're not, whatever you go do, you're not going to F it up.
Exactly. And you'll always do it with a flair. Mm-hmm. It's like she can do a science project or, something, and it's very technical, but you'll see some part of it be.
Well, I think those are the people that think outside the box.
Absolutely.
Like
those are the people.
You've got great scientists in labs doing things the way they were taught, the way that it's supposed to go, the way that math works.
Right.
And then
takes those disruptors.
Yes.
Yeah.
You've got someone like your daughter that's like.
Yeah. Like, what if we did it this way?
Let's just throw this in there.
Absolutely.
And now you're discovering things.
I love, whether it be writing, photography, whatever, I love learning the rules just to break them later.
Yes.
Like, hey, if you know the rules, cool.
Yes.
That'll get you so far. And then it's time to break them.
I feel like that's exactly what I do in real estate within legal reason.
Right.
But I'm always like, tell me the rules.
Yeah.
And not necessarily break them, because some of them will get me to jail. But
getting creative.
Is there
with
like
them.
a third way
right.
to do this that follows the rules?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where we get people the most success in the real estate things.
I love that.
Because we're in Nashville. We're dealing with the zoning and the roads and the water and all the departments, and we have like this metro system that should be something you would see in Chicago or LA or these bigger cities.
Yes.
And we have
all
these crazy departments running 1 million people.
It is something to witness. And experience.
Have you ever been to like a council meeting or anything to see anything take place, and you're just like,
it's
what is this circus?
Nashville has grown too fast. You know, and that I've definitely seen that over the last
I feel like we're calming down a little bit. I feel like we're not the darling, cute, you must move here city anymore.
Right.
I feel like that's going away. I saw a list recently that was like, Knoxville tops Nashville.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, they're the cute city now. Okay, like go.
Okay, go on.
Go there.
That's
go build
good.
your container apartments there.
Seriously.
Because we're good on that.
Yeah, we're full.
You've seen 10 years, you've seen everything. I'm trying to think what was coming here 10 years ago. I mean, everything. I feel like, were the Bachelorettes already downtown?
Not the way
they are today.
No. Now it's, when I first moved here, I would get closer to downtown without having a look on my face. And now, I mean,
no, it's a lot. I mean, as a real estate person, I love the attention.
Sure.
As a native, a resident, I'm like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah. I think also, it's a thing, attention for the right reasons, right? Like,
right.
Is this the good reason to like love Nashville? Is this the attention that we want? Is this because it's a choice?
Always.
It's
Not
a choice.
Always.
And
and I feel like all those choices are being made on Broadway.
100%. All the choices are being made on Broadway.
Yes. I feel like outside of that, like the greater metro Nashville area, I do love it. We do have great neighborhoods. Like I used to live in Melrose, and I felt like that was such a good, it was really diverse.
Yeah.
It didn't have, Hattie B's didn't exist yet.
Right.
But Bolton's did.
Oh my gosh.
And the coffee shops and Frothy Monkey. I was surprised to find, like, maybe 6 months ago, I went to Frothy on 12th for the first time in maybe years, because it's so busy. I'm not going to 12th.
Right. Oh my gosh, that place is so busy.
And I went to Frothy, and it's, there's like a hostess, and you have to go sit. And I was like, oh, I thought I was just going to roll up here and get a shot of espresso.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, this is going to take a beat.
Like, the Bachelorettes were here first today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
That whole neighborhood is so busy constantly. And it looks nothing like it did when I first moved here. When I first moved here, I loved it so much, just like Berry Hill. It was quaint. It had, the coffee shops, the little stores. It just felt so good to like support these like small local businesses.
Yes.
Things have changed so drastically.
Yes, they have. And I love our Berry Hill. I feel like that's another thing we need to touch on is you're one of my neighbors here.
Yes, I am.
We've been so close for so long, and we didn't even know. And Berry Hill,
wild.
My business has always been in Berry Hill.
Okay.
We were on East Iris. The brokerage I was with before is in Berry Hill.
No kidding.
My grandmother started a real estate company with her mom back in the day.
Oh my gosh.
And they were on Columbine, where Nashville Jam is. That was my grandmother's office. So
wow.
Yeah. So Saturdays was me getting dropped off with my grandmother, her having to go to the office to do some things because real estate never stops. And
I didn't even know that about you, that you come from a
I
long
come from
line
real estate.
of, that is in your blood.
This is just what you do. You know, they told me I couldn't be an artist as well, but I had to go to college and get a real job.
Yeah.
And that did not. And I made it like a year and a half at college.
Okay.
And I was like, I can't do school.
Yeah.
And my parents were like, just go get your real estate license. That's what we do. But also like,
that's great support. I mean,
it's good support.
Yeah.
But it's also, real estate became a thing where it's like, this is where I can be creative.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
The scientist with the rules and the thinking outside the box, and let's throw this at it.
That's right.
I can be creative.
Connection with people.
Oh my
You're
God,
getting
it's
that
huge.
people element as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That I was not finding in studio art.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it can be very isolating and lonely.
And my creativity hits 120
in
a collaboration.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It's
for
unstoppable.
sure.
I mean, that's how I feel with Hugo.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he and I, we've known each other a few years, but you know, we'll sit down for lunch or coffee and we're just like gone for 2 hours.
That is the best.
Right, yeah. And like, and then nothing happens. And then it's like, okay, F it, let's do a podcast.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. Mm-hmm. I love that. It is, I think.
It's important because it's a flow.
Right.
I feel like a lot of people say they want to kind of create projects with people that they get along with.
Yeah.
But you're so motivated in the beginning, whether like people have timelines or stuff, like whatever, things are rushed, and you don't have that like year and a half of just like flow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so
you always have to find that flow.
Super important, but a lot of it has to do with like, you know, good fortune and luck when you have that opportunity to really take that time. And I think that's what was like super, super fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with that, something that just listening, I'm super curious.
Yeah.
What are things that you feel like made your house a home before?
Okay.
The ones we grew up in.
There's such a difference between a house and a home.
Yeah. I live in a house right now.
Yeah.
And I hate it.
Yeah.
Because we're
what would you do differently? What are you missing?
Well, we're in transition. We tore down the house we did live in for 8 years.
Okay.
So we're in a rental.
Rentals are tough because they're not yours, right?
It's not mine. Mm-hmm. And it's none of the things that are mine. You know, we got rid of so much furniture.
Yeah.
We got like just a couple of like.
Do you have a lot of things in storage?
We have so much in storage.
Yeah.
All the good stuff is in storage. I have like these dinky little Walmart stools at the counter and no storage in the townhouse, and I hate it.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like home.
Like every morning when I'm like getting ready and looking for something, I just want to cry because I'm like, I don't live here.
Yeah.
I don't live here. And like the house that we are building is like, we're going to die here.
Yeah. Okay.
Like our grandchildren will be visiting us here.
That's incredible.
So I'm just like, I want to get to that. Like I know the first day we move in, it will not be set up and the home and whatever, but I know within a couple of years it's going to be like, this is home.
I think that is so special.
And that is what it is.
Yeah.
I was really worried about my son's transition because he had just turned 4 when we moved into the rental, and we're like preparing him, and like this Bluey episode about selling the house and moving came out. And thank God for the internet, because all these moms are like, we're moving, and my kids saw the Bluey episode about selling this episode. I was like, we're not watching the Bluey selling the house episode, like whatever. And we still haven't watched it.
Oh, okay.
But because I wanted that transition. Because I felt like the house I grew up in, we moved a lot.
Okay.
You know, I spent the first 8 years of my life in a house, and then we moved. And I spent the next 8 years in that house, and then we moved. My parents are now in the house that they will die in, the one that their grandkids go to.
Very good.
But, I mean, by that point, we moved into that one when I was 16, and then I'm gone in 2 years.
That kind of happened to me.
Doesn't feel like home to me.
Right. So in a similar vein, you know, when I was younger, we lived in Chicago proper, you know, and then getting older, we moved to the suburbs. And, you know, my parents had their first official starter home there. And then they decided to buy some land and build a house.
Yes.
My dad was a union plumber.
Okay.
And so he had everybody,
Yes.
you know, he knew
Yes.
carpenters and electricians and all this stuff. And when I say that he built the house, I mean, I'm not kidding.
He built the house.
He actually built the
Yes.
house. And in this house, it took years to build this house.
Of course it did, because he built it himself.
Because he built it himself. And he was working full time while also building this house. And I remember the whole process. We started it when I was in junior high.
Yeah.
And I think we got our occupancy, I was a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
And so I had only lived there through high school.
Yeah. Which you're gone. Like,
That was so
you're
quick.
gone. You're out every weekend.
Yeah. Oh my
You're
gosh.
gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
You sleep there.
So
you
that,
might do homework there.
no, I will say that there was something very special about that house. Of course, you know, us building it.
Yes.
We have our handprints
Yes.
in certain places,
Love that.
right? Like underneath the carpeting in the bedroom that was mine. Especially being a teenager, we'd have all of our friends over. We painted the plywood floors because it was a while before
Yes.
it had
Yes.
carpet.
Yes.
Actually, I don't think I had carpeting the whole time I lived there.
Okay.
I know that for a fact. I never had carpeting. They got it later in my room. So we had painted the floors and then taken Sharpies and like we would write song lyrics.
that.
We would write, you know, like,
Yes.
oh, Amy loves so and
Just
so,
getting
like
to
whoever
be
the
high school girls.
If you rip that
Yes.
carpeting up,
Yes.
that is my
You
like
probably get somebody's parents' home phone number on there.
I'm sure. I'm sure. There is a lot. There's stuff. That's where the bodies are hidden for sure. But because of that, that was a very special
Yes.
home.
Yes.
And of course, you know, I lost my dad in early 2016.
Okay, yes.
My mom stayed there for a couple of years, but then she sold
That's
it
gotta
and
be
moved.
hard. Yeah.
That was the hardest thing in the world because that's also where in between moving, like we lived with our kids for 2 years.
Okay. Okay. So then it becomes really homey when your kids are there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And to boot, my grandparents lived directly behind. Okay, this is the situation. So my kids could just go out the back door and go to, you know, Gigi and Grandpa's. Our dog, Juliet, you would just open that door and be like, Juliet, go see Gigi. And she would by herself.
Just take off.
Run right to
Grandma's
Gigi's
house.
back door.
I
She would
love
never want to
that.
come home.
Yeah. Because
She-
Gigi's feeding her bacon.
You know it. That's exactly what it is. We'd always say like, oh, Julia just wants to hang out with the old
Yeah.
folk today and
Yeah.
get scraps. Yeah. Yeah, she loved it. But so for that time, it was really special. So my mom selling that house, it was hard. It still is hard.
Yeah.
You know, my son likes to say like, one day I'm going to buy that house back. And that would be so sweet if it happened, you know, but you know, during our move, I think living in the rental space was very challenging because it did not feel like a home.
It's not yours.
Nope.
And you can't like do anything to it.
You can't do anything to it. It's like, okay, everybody make sure you're taking care of this space, you know? So you're always kind of on high alert. I mean, not like that we don't take care of our own house, but you know, it's different,
It's
right?
different. It's different. Like I have a door and a wall that I just turned around for 2 minutes, April.
Uh-huh.
And this little boy found himself a Sharpie. And it's like right at his eye level too. Just these swirlies and whatever.
Beautiful
from, like, it covers
art.
the whole
Yeah. Yeah.
door and onto the wall. And like, you know, I remember like I can hear something. I'm like in the kitchen. I'm like, I hear something that doesn't sound like something I want to hear.
Right.
And I turned the corner and I was like, oh, buddy. And he was just like, what?
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Oh, and you know, it would have been hard enough had that been your home.
I mean, yeah. And
But-
it's like, I'm like,
but
to
you
the
can-
point now, I'm like, we're going to move out. We're
Yeah.
going to move out before the year, I'm just going to send somebody in to like, and I have the resources to do.
That's fantastic. You know people.
I'm going to send somebody to paint.
Yeah.
I'm going to send somebody to replace the carpet because
Good.
we also have an elderly dying dog in
Yes.
this house. And it's
Yes.
just...
That is really tough.
we will be doing that. We're going to turn it over better than we found it. But
Yep, that's how I am too with
still
things.
yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, just one more thing to do.
It is. I think that transition is really tough with the renting. It doesn't feel like home. You know, we were, what we tried to do is use the space that we had to make it special and fun for the kids. Like the home that we were renting in Mount Juliet had about an acre. It was on this like dead end road right by the lake. It was a pretty cool location, pretty isolated in a way too. But when we lived at my parents' house, we had not only my parents' acre, but then my grandparents' acre too. They had like a little 4-wheeler and a go-kart.
Oh, yeah.
So then they were able to use it again. So like that was special, you know, for them. But I think when we finally moved into our house, it felt good.
Yeah.
You know, my son has like the upstairs, there's a bedroom, bathroom, the bonus room up there, that's where the kids hang out.
Right.
And then yeah, it just feels like
It's
home.
home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Although
it's really
now
like,
after this transition of my life, I'm like,
I know,
I kind of...
but I feel like you're also at a point too where like, you know, because your daughter, you said, is 16.
Yeah.
So also at that age where like, she's not home anymore either. And she shouldn't be. She should be
Right.
out
living,
doing the friends
Yeah.
things. But so you have this another transition coming of just, like,
absolutely.
empty nester and
Absolutely.
clean out those cabinets and make it just 100% yours.
Yeah.
Like,
It is
kids
something. This is
here.
a time of a lot of transition, you know, divorce, and the kids are getting older. That's one thing, like I kind of sit there sometimes. It's like, wow, a lot happens, and it's very common to hear around this time, this middle-aged type of time, you know, divorce and empty nest. It kind of all happens at once.
yeah, but also like what I'm hearing is you don't like anybody in the studio until you've got it a blank slate. You don't
Yeah.
like to cook until your
Yeah.
kitchen is clean.
Yeah.
And you get to do middle age with a blank slate.
Oh, I'm having some fun. It is, you know, having kids that are older too. It's like, no, clean up after yourself,
Yeah.
right? You know, the worst is my dog. I have a 2-year-old dog
Okay,
who's
yeah.
chaos.
You do have to clean up after that.
Do have to clean up after him. But it is really freeing. And now that I've purged my house of like so much stuff, it's feeling good.
Yeah.
You know, like I decorated for Halloween on September 1st.
Yes.
Like I
As you should.
Oh my God. It felt so.
As you should.
And I actually, I'm such a nerd about Halloween, right? I'm like, oh, I wish it could just be like this year round. Like this is what I bought these really cool skeleton glasses at World Market. So, I mean, they had them for Halloween.
Yeah.
But they were skeletons with disco balls for
Okay.
the taller glasses.
Okay.
And then the rocks glasses are these like skull heads with snake and all these like little stars
These
around
sound
it.
like year-round glasses.
Oh, these are my year-round glasses now.
Yeah.
Now they are
As
my
they should
year-round
be.
glasses.
Yes.
I'm loving them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now I get to
And
have
nobody
like
in the house to stop you.
exactly.
Yes.
No, I have a big lion statue in my house. I
Yes.
have a bronze Medusa
Yes.
sculpture on my wall. Like, this is mine now. It's weird and it's funky and I love it.
All the things that it
Yes,
should be.
all of the
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. I think in order to prevent divorce, my husband, this house that we're building.
He's gonna need to.
Well, he just said, I don't want you to ask my opinion because you're not going to like it. So just do it.
I love that.
And I can live anywhere.
Good.
And I'm like,
Good. Yeah.
he's
yeah.
going to get his room where he can like hang guitars and whatever. And since we're
So good.
building this house, he was like, I want literally no windows in this room.
Okay.
I just want walls. He almost was like, there's supposed to be a door to a bathroom. And he was like, get rid of it.
Oh my gosh.
Give it like just walls. It's gonna be guitars. It's gonna be music. It's gonna
This
be
is-
these posters. It's gonna, you know.
I love it.
And okay, and I won't. Touch
Everybody
that
needs
one.
a space that is just weirdly theirs.
Yes,
Right?
to go all out.
And you know, it's not like I ever couldn't show up. My ex didn't care
sharing a house
about
with someone, even on good terms. Sharing a house with someone, it's like, you know, because I have like my my secret single behavior.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do when last night he was at band practice, and I'm like, I'm going to wear this on the couch, and I'm going to sit on the whole couch.
Yes.
And I'm going to eat this food.
Nobody's looking at me or questioning me.
Or give me a weird look about what I'm eating.
What are you watching? What are you eating? All of that. Yeah.
And it's like, he doesn't care what I'm watching or eating, but like, just don't ask me questions.
It's the questions. It's just the questions sometimes. Like,
I'm alone.
Exactly. I will say... That's what I'm enjoying. Mm-hmm. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, nobody asking questions.
Nobody asking questions.
I'm just going to text you at like 8 p.m. on Saturday night and be like, what are you watching?
Yeah, just to give me that old familiar feeling.
Do you miss it? No? Okay.
No, girl, no. I'm being a complete weirdo at my home by myself. Yeah.
Listening to this one Beyonce song.
Right, over
repeat.
and over. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's when I have like my kitchen dance parties. Mm-hmm. I blast The Cure and just go total, new
feral female.
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I'm living my best life.
I love that for you. I like that you said your son wants to like buy the house that you guys had. And I actually see that more often than you might think.
Yeah.
In real estate is people get to buy that house. The family kind of stays in the neighborhood anyway, but yeah, they get to buy that house or a very similar house. Or I've even, as an adult, I had a friend that was like house sitting.
Okay.
And, of course, when you're like 22 and you're house sitting, you call all your friends over.
Of course.
We go over. It's the house I spent the first 8 years of my life in.
Oh.
This is like 2012.
Oh my goodness.
And I was born in 86. So
you had memories.
I had memories.
Absolutely.
And they still had the 1980s wallpaper in the kitchen that my mom,
this was our wallpaper.
Yeah. He gave me the address to the house and I was like, I think I grew up there. Like I couldn't remember the address. And then I pulled up and I was like, oh my God. McDonald's in the early 90s, they gave out, trees to plant trees.
Okay.
You remember in the early 90s we had a shot at saving the planet.
Yeah. We did have a shot.
So the Happy Meals had trees.
Okay.
Little saplings.
Yeah.
I planted it in the backyard.
Your tree.
It was back then. It was a pine tree. Like
your tree was grown
like over the house. I've driven by since. The tree is gone. But McDonald's, like, good on you.
Yeah, that's that's great, actually.
So what changed your business? What got your business to the 5-year mark and beyond? Like, it's I mean, at this point, you're so far past the 5-year mark. Is it like, I'm sure you remember the early struggles of getting it.
Yeah. And I think, the early struggles, especially for a photography business, you are so worried about doing it right. Mm-hmm. Like what is right, And so I remember early on, even in my first studio, I was not priced where I should be. And I think that's a huge issue with a lot of photographers. They don't actually run their business like a business.
Yeah.
And that is pricing structure, that is sustainability. You do realize when you're a business owner, it's not just, per client, what do I have to make? It's you have to pay yourself X amount. You also need a retirement. You need to pay, get your own insurance. All of these different things that way too many people don't think about.
Yes.
And they do it as a hobby. So I think that one of the things, my first studio, I burned myself out. I had to take a couple of years off.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was not priced sustainably. I did not have my systems in place. I was an artist trying to have a business. And I was able, as I took time off, to really learn business.
Yes.
And I dove into that. I do not think that any artist should go into business for themselves unless they know business.
Absolutely.
You can be great at what you do, but you would be better off working for somebody else than running your own business because you will be quick to burn out. You will make unsustainable income. And that I think business is paramount, right?
Yes.
So it took me, a few years to really wrap my head around that. And now, in the photography industry, in the world, things are changing so fast.
Yes.
Just in, tools like our cameras and AI. I mean, everything is just changing so fast. One of the biggest things that I've had to learn is to know that it's okay to pivot. It's okay to let go. And it's okay to like do something totally different. Don't hold on so tightly that it becomes a death grip.
Yeah.
Death grip is what will kill you.
It's going to kill the business.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I've learned that numerous times.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, no, you have to.
Yeah.
And it's going to keep changing.
Absolutely. Things are changing right now.
Technology is only getting stronger.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your client base will change.
Their needs will
change. Yeah. There's so much. So.
What blew you out of the water? Is there an instance in business, maybe home life that bleeds into business or something that you didn't see coming, but it took you to the next level?
Sure. Okay. So, everything changes so quickly in life, and that's for our personal life. That's for our business. I think that even right now I'm in this transitional period where I see something bigger coming.
You're at that pullback of the slingshot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that going through not only some business, struggles, but personal struggles, and not letting that devastate me, okay? But being open and curious. What else could I do? Where should I move toward?
Yes.
What am I good at? What am I known for? Asking yourself those questions can help propel you to that next level. Not getting so stuck on a dot or hung up.
Who you want to be.
Exactly.
Who you think you are.
And there you go. That's a huge point too. It's, a lot of people get stuck in presenting themselves a certain way with who they think they should be.
Yes.
And it's a lot easier to go through life presenting yourself as you are.
As you are.
You'll find your people. You'll find what works for you. And I think you'll just be happier.
Yeah.
So
much quicker too.
Oh, yes.
I find like young people in the business, young people I know in life, like I've got this client, but I don't want them to know I'm new. Like,
yeah. Why?
They're going to figure it out.
Yeah. They're going to absolutely figure it out.
Or a girlfriend with a new boyfriend. I don't want him to know this about you. Girl, he gonna figure it out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, just tell him right now.
Yeah.
And then we'll know.
Absolutely.
Tell your clients who you are.
Right. You'll find the right fit.
Yes.
And right fit in clients, in business structure, all of it. And so I think that is one of the biggest things, is just to stay flexible, stay open, look for opportunities, and just be like, all right, I'm going to lean in with some curiosity here.
We're going to try that out. Yeah.
Oh just God. Always evolving and being okay with it.
Yes.
That's the thing, being okay with it.
And that is the perfectionist practice. Is,
like I said, I'm a recovering perfectionist.
Yeah, it's not what I thought it was.
Yeah.
I'm not who I thought I was. I am this.
Yeah.
But I feel so much closer to perfection when I lean into that.
Right.
Okay, that is who I am. That fits so well.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what I always tell my kids: fail as many times as you can.
Absolutely.
Fail, get dirty, get messy, do whatever you need to do. That's how you're going to succeed.
Absolutely. That was not a message I got as a kid.
No, not really for me either.
And not at school. I hope they're not still teaching that in school. Or I hope they found better ways. I also went to a pretty strict Catholic situation.
Yeah, I think the school system as a whole is very in the box, right?
Yeah, you got to be in the box.
And so, that's one thing too, that for my own personal success in business, and what I try to teach my kids is get out there, put your heart out there, fail, get messy, do the thing. That's how you will find what works.
Yes.
And I'm constantly evolving with that.
As we should be. I feel like I live in fear that, like, if I did know everything, I'd be done here.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want to be done here.
I'd be so bored.
Yes. Yes.
I get bored really quickly.
Yes. I am having too much fun now. So I don't want to know everything, but I do want to
Yeah.
Explore it. Okay. Well, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm so glad you agreed to come. I'm so glad we got to know each other a little better. We're going to have to actually now we got to plan a coffee date or something. Maybe we'll actually go be friends.
Yeah.
And
I would love that.
I hope you get your podcast off the ground and you do it, because I feel like those are important conversations.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
More people need to hear that. I'm sure there's a few of those conversations going on out there, but we need
more.
All of it.
Yep.